YouTube. Off-season week 7 is about to go down. Pull down the cards and I will take you through my entire pull session, top working sets, and you will get to see some posing at the very end of the session. Body weight on average. So I wanted to give you some updates on where we are at this moment in time. Body weight on average is 249.1 pounds, which is 8 pounds up from stage weight. The look is very different because I did run a health phase post-show where we will always have a clear out from the extra supplementation that you have to take when you are prepping. So essentially, the look isn't quite as hard, but I would still say I am relatively lean for this position, this length of time post-show, and the body weight. I don't think I held my condition quite as well with my body weight being at pretty much 250. Some days I actually have seen 250 this week as well. But on average, the weight is still 249.1, which is the most important thing. So week number 7 since the show, actually almost week number 8, as we're 2 days away from week number 8. I do anticipate potential food increase next week, as the last time I actually took my food up was the week starting 13th of October. And the past 3 weeks, weight has been going up. However, the past 7 days, my weight has somewhat leveled off and it hasn't really been moving forward. Condition has been improving, however. Appetite, we won't mention it. I still have had some nights last week where I was waking up very, very early in the middle of the night. Pretty ravenous, but that's okay. I can handle it. And it's something I lean into because protecting my appetite, protecting my body composition will give me the runway to be able to progress for a long time. As the time frame at which I am expecting to be in an off-season for now is going to be a total time frame of 33, 34 weeks if all goes well. In order for me to be able to stay in a calorie surplus, a small calorie surplus for that duration of time, I need to protect my condition and my appetite. If I was entering week 7 post-show and I was already feeling like my food is sitting there and I wasn't hungry, this would definitely mean I would not be able to stay in an off-season for as long as I am expecting to. And a consideration to make is this, guys. You can only build muscle at a certain pace. It takes time. It takes time for your body to adapt, and it takes time for you to actually accumulate true contractile tissue. It's very easy to add water weight. It's very easy to expand your muscle, both with intracellular glycogen, so carbohydrates go in, extra glycogen, but also fat and water. That is not true muscle. When you look at a pound of meat in a butcher's, it's a lot of weight, it's a lot of meat. Imagine putting that on your frame on a weekly basis. Imagine how much of a different look that would actually attain. And the reality is, guys, we are not gaining a pound of muscle a week. So when we look at a total rate of gain over 33 weeks, if I am aiming to add 40 pounds on my frame of body weight over 33 weeks, I will be lucky if out of that 40 pounds, 10 pounds will be muscle, maybe 12. So you've got to consider, yes, you will accumulate some body fat, but it has to be done over time. More body fat you accumulate quickly, less muscle you will gain, because the ability to stay in a small calorie surplus over time will be diminished, as one, your insulin sensitivity will be skewed. So your intake of food will not be utilized quite as well. And 2, your appetite will likely give in, and so will your digestion. Last off-season, guys, I was in a surplus for a total of 34 weeks, and my appetite and digestion did not give in once. My calories maxed out at 5,500 on training day, 4,500 on rest day, and my appetite was still pretty good. So that just gives you a reference point, right? What can be done and what will likely need to be done for this phase to achieve what I need to achieve with the musculature that I need to attain to be competitive. We're on track. Bicep has healed pretty quickly. I will do a separate video covering on what I did to heal up. And there was use of peptides, yes. And I will delve deeper into what I actually did personally. Thank you to Jordan and Proforma, which Jordan's input was extremely valuable with just the rehab work and what I needed to do with the protocol as well. And that was insane at how quickly I actually recovered. Dr. Answer was very, very surprised when they did my ultrasound like 2 weeks after, when I had my PRP on my arm. Check the YouTube for that. And the difference in healing was just incredible. So that shit works, without a shadow of a doubt. Body weight's going up. Appetite is remaining intact. Condition staying tight. Total working sets for today's session is 13 working sets. And that is 8 sets of back work, 2 sets of traps, 1 set of rear delt, 2 sets of bicep. That volume for me at the moment is perfect. I am walking the gym excited every single day, and I'm taking substantial progression, both for training performance, but also substantial progression with the visuals, which is most important. So check-ins, I'm still doing 2 check-ins per week, 3 rounds of posing each one, and I am still taking pictures post-workout. Next week, I will do a check-in for you in the morning so you can see the difference in my body composition and the visual change morning and night, which is huge. In the morning, I'm a lot drier. As the day goes on, I do tend to hold a lot more water, which is fine. But it's something I'll need to consider for the shows because my best look is probably morning time. I'm full and I'm dry. And then as the day goes on, I do get a little bit fuller, but I do just hold more water. It's not so much body fat. But nevertheless, even post-workout today, you'll see that I am a lot leaner. Guys, session time. New apparel. This is one of my favorite sayings. So merch will be coming out soon. Guys, if you need anything, need any help from myself and the team, Team MK Coaching, visit the link in the description. Code Kuba 10 for Trained by JP as always. All the nutrition. By using my code, you are supporting the channel directly. So please make sure you do so. And code Kuba at Hard Bodies Equipment. So guys, if you are looking to support the channel, not only like, share, subscribe, but also use my code. It definitely helps out and allows me to bring more content to you guys. So let's get stuck into this pull day. Exercise number 1, guys and girls, single arm Nautilus row. And this session structure has changed just a little bit. I did have a single arm row as exercise number 2, but 7 weeks in, I am already getting close to the stack on the cable row. So it doesn't make any sense to try and use a gym pin when I have another option that, in my opinion, is far more beneficial when it comes to the setup and ease of being able to progress my lift with extra stability through a chest support. So one thing to note when it comes to exercise selection, guys, always pick movements that you are able to progress safely over as long as you physically can. Pick movements that give you the ability to create the most stability. So chest supports on a row or a pull down is going to be extremely beneficial, especially with exercises like this. So this was my warm-up set. Okay, that's me warmed up. Set number 1 is about to go down. I have recently swapped from my single arm cable row onto this row. A couple of reasons. 1, it has a chest support. 2, it's much easier to set up. Right now, cables are extremely popular. So 9 times out of 10, someone's either using the cables, then I've got to drag the bench over. It's just a lot of energy and time wasted when I've got an amazing machine here that I can use that offers me more stability, better bracing, and ease of setup. So when you take into consideration exercise selection, you've got to pay attention to resistance profile, ease of setup, and how much stability that machine provides you with. This far better than the cable. So same resistance profile, therefore I am starting with this machine today, then going into my pull down, then the upper back row, and then finish on the frontal plane, pull down, and then again back to the shrug. So I will talk you through the exercise sequence in a little bit more depth. as I know I've already covered it in the intro a little bit, but I'll give you a little bit more insight as to the hows and whys as we go through the movements. Off-season week 7, let's get it, baby. For all of my warm-up set, guys, I am using them to find my execution, find my posture, find my exercise setup. Exercise setup is by far the most important variable when it comes to training execution. Without nailing down your exercise setup, it will be quite literally impossible to nail down your execution. So as you can see here, guys, I am setting up with my arm having the ability to come forward and up. So the handle is in line or just below my shoulder, which gives me the ability to come forward and up, allowing me to get full stretch through the lat and then drive my elbow down and into the pocket of the hip. Pelvis stays neutral, core braced, pulling myself into the chest pad. And one thing you'll notice here, guys, is my posture does not change. Execution remains consistent across the board. My non-working side hip and shoulder is slightly rotated out, and the working side shoulder is in a little bit. This gives me a little bit more range of motion. And last repetition, guys, I do not take any scrappy reps. All of the reps are pretty clean. And you will see this across both sides where execution remains tight. I do not take any reps past failure. So my goal is reaching clean failure. That simply means taking my set all the way there without changing my execution in any way, shape or form. If I have to change my posture or change anything in terms of my execution to try and get more reps, that is what we call reps past failure. Now, this is the reason why a lot of people fall out of the logbook, is because most people will often take shit scrappy reps which do not provide you with any additional mechanical tension or stimulus that is needed for your body to grow, as only quality reps will provide you with that. And then they log these reps, and then trying to progress these reps is almost impossible. Moving on to a single arm pull down. This is a pull down movement in sagittal plane. So quite simply, your arm is going forward and in front of you. So starting with a sagittal plane row and then moving on to sagittal plane pull down. I would argue, yes, both movements can be seen as the same movement, but not quite. Anyone that can actually feel what these movements actually feel like and what they do will understand that they are very different. And I would argue both will have a purpose, especially having the ability to adjust resistance profile on this piece makes it a great addition. So 2 working sets, single arm row, moving on to 2 working sets on a lower lat single arm pull down using the prime. And both of these sets are, again, taken all the way there. Second set, I will always take some load out the middle and put it on top, just to make sure that the weight stays the same and resistance changes further to shift the load onto the stretch, where I will still have a lot more power than I will have in the shortened range. The reason why I am starting with a single arm row on the Nautilus is because that is a machine that is very heavy in the shortened range. So it makes sense starting with it and then moving on to exercises that overload more so the stretch position, or moving on to exercises where I do have the ability to adjust the resistance profile like the prime machines. Exercise number 3, upper back prime row. There is no real focus here. Maximum protraction, retraction through the scapula. And as you can see here, guys, max range of motion through both upper back, traps, rear delt, and the lat. As much as we can try to isolate the muscle or try to isolate different divisions of our back, every exercise that we do will still, to a degree, work our entire back musculature, including your rear delt. So you've got to be mindful of that, guys. Yes, you still need specificity, but you also need to understand that every exercise you do for your back will train your entire back. However, some movements will train one division of your back more than others. And that is the true difference between biasing different movements. However, understanding it's never true isolation is also the key. Final movement for the back is the frontal plane pull down, which is going to target upper lat and upper back and the rear delt. The reason why I do not perform these bilaterally is because I do not have the mobility to do so. And the range of motion for me is extremely short when I do perform these bilaterally. So single arm is a much better option for me. And this is a movement that has been popularized as of late, thanks to some of the top nerds out there and top educators out there. And I do feel like it's a movement that has its place. However, I think a lot of people get paralyzed by analysis, or shall we say over-analysis of these movements. Yes, it's great, but ultimately it's just variety. Now, finishing off the back portion of the workout with a chest supported shrug, I wanted to give you both angles here, from the front and the back. The goal here is, again, maximum protraction and retraction, and this is not just going to train the trap, but your entire mid-back. Your traps run all the way down into your mid-back, so the only way to truly develop that portion of the back is through these scapular retractions on ideally a chest supported shrug. Just standing there and trying to shrug up and down doesn't really do that much for your traps. And as you can see, this angle specifically shows you some of the back gains, which have been pretty decent. And the goal here, again, is just trying to get as much movement for the shoulder blades. I do keep a slight bend at the arm, but nothing excessive, just enough comfort to be able to get full range of motion here into full protraction and retraction. The goal here is, again, mid to upper trap, and you can see from this angle exactly which portion of the back is engaged and which portion of the back is working. And these actually feel pretty incredible. It's a staple in my back training, and I vary these between a chest supported T-bar, and then on the second session I actually do them on the prime low row, following my upper back work on the prime low row. Now, my favorite exercise for rear delts, actually, I have two, and I actually have them both in rotation. Incline lying reverse cable fly on a bench. As you can see here, guys, I've set the pins up so that I can actually get into the cables easily. This is essentially how I set up the exercise. Having the stability on the bench just gives me so much more power. And more power, more stability, more stimulus, more force directly going into the rear delt, which will directly lead to some potential for extra growth. The cues here is reaching out to the side. I start in a position where I reach forward and up, allowing my shoulders to protract a little bit, and then I reach out and back without trying to actively retract. And see how the cables are actually lowered here with where I adjusted the pin stack, makes it much easier to set up. Now, finishing off on some high cable curls. Extremely easy to set up. Again, upper arm is braced into the bench for extra stability. And this, again, is a very safe exercise for me. I vary between this and a preacher curl, which doesn't cause me any pain. As you can see here, guys, I am actually able to load my biceps only 7 weeks post-injury without any pain or discomfort, and it's safe to do so. So I'm extremely blessed to be able to get into full recovery here and get shit done, have productive training, and be in a position to be able to drive some stimulus there to be able to grow and progress without any limitations. I would probably say this is the first week where I feel like my bicep has been 90%. So this is definitely a big, big positive for me at least. So this movement, again, upper arm stays fixed. As I come into a stretch, I don't just think about releasing my hand. I quite literally think about pushing my fist up and away from me, maintaining tension on my bicep entire time. And now, guys, we finish off with some posing. Body weight on that day was 249.1 pounds. So as you can see here, guys, a little bit watery, but condition's still pretty tight. Glutes are still fully in. Water retention is there, but that's okay. We can deal with that. Key is making sure that composition stays tight. And for me, my back, lower back, and glutes are by far the fattest. So that's the areas I am paying attention to the most throughout this off season to maintain good body composition throughout. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed a bit of a physique update. And I will see you guys again with off-season week number 8.